So, hey, I hope you guys still remember me. It's been, wow, I don't even want to mention how long it's been. Anyways, I know this may be a weird video, first video back. You know, you guys were waiting on a stop motion video, and don't worry, that thing is coming. It's coming. I promise it's coming. It's just we've been having a little bit of technical difficulties recently. But, you know, here I got something a little small cooking up for you guys. So, well, I upgraded / customized my SH MonsterArts figures. Some, you know, I had to fill in the gaps a little bit. You guys already seen Final Wars, but I technically got 2 new ones. Why do I mean technically 2? Well, you'll find out why with G14. Anyways, today I just wanted to take a closer look at the new heads from Kujira Designs. Mainly his new Showa Godzilla head kits and his 2.0 Godzilla 2014 head. I will be going over these guys in much better detail, explained how I got the colors I got for them, how I paint matched them, all that. And hopefully, you know, you guys liked how the final result did. You guys can let me know down in the comments if I did great, if I did horrible, if I should just delete my channel, you know, all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's get on to the first figure. And the first figure will be a figure that I have already covered on the channel briefly on a short, and that is Godzilla Final Wars. And this is Kujira Designs Godzilla Final Wars head kit, as if I didn't already mention that, but you know, I'm saying it again. I don't care. So yeah, I really like this head kit. It makes him look really mean and aggressive like how he was in the movie. I'm not a big fan of the original head. Actually, let me grab that original head, because when I posted the short for this guy, there was a lot of lovely comments complimenting this head. And here's the original head from MonsterArts. And yeah, you know what, let's just get this right in center so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, I get some people like this head. You know, I like Final Wars. He's basically my profile picture on YouTube. And that design is already a big, you know, 50-50 mix between the community. You know, you can't really defend this design without people calling his face rat. Or it looks like a rodent of some sort. This head doesn't help that case at all. It just makes the design look even worse. So yeah, this head is not for me. If you like this head, good for you. I don't care. Leave me alone. I'm just kidding. I obviously had to upgrade that. We couldn't have that ugly head anymore, so we upgraded for something way better. And better I did, as I obviously got the Kujira head. But it did not come painted because I painted it myself. And I think I did pretty great.
Alright, so the audio for the original clip kind of got corrupted, so voiceover. Anyways, what I did here was use the Apple Barrel paint brand Jet Black. Jet Black is a good base color for the Final Wars figure, as it's mostly black. It has a little hints of like light hints of grayish tones, really hard to tell, but it's mostly jet black. And that's what I did for the initial skin color of the repaint. For the eyes, I just did a generic orange, and for the inside of the mouth, I did again Apple Barrel red, and I mixed it with a little bit of black so I can get a little purplish hint, and I washed that over the roof of the mouth and the tongue. For the teeth, I did a moldy yellow, which I would suggest you mixing yellow with a little bit of brown and just a tiny bit of black just to get a little darker yellow. But yeah, those were the paints I used for my Final Wars Godzilla repaint.
And up next, we got the SH MonsterArts Godzilla 2014. This may be my second favorite other than the Godzilla Final Wars custom I did. it just completes the figure overall. I like how it just feels right. It feels completed finally after 10 years. I am aware that Tamashii Nations was unable to give us a more screen accurate G14 because they were given an unfinished model of the final design all those years ago, but they had over a decade to update the sculpt. At least in my opinion they did. But I also get some people actually ended up liking the original head this figure originally came with. It grew on me, I will admit, but at the end of the day, I want my accurate Godzilla 2014 figure. So I know the higher one was out there, but honestly I like the proportions on the MonsterArts a little better. The spikes on G14 being smaller wasn't really a thing I was really a big of a fan of for the CGI model, and MonsterArts kind of buffed the dorsal plates on the figure, and that's what I like. And now we're gonna compare it to the Volume 1 head, or the first release of Kujira's 2014 head, versus the new one that I have here. The most noticeable difference here is that the new one has sharper detail. The first release still looks like G14, don't get me wrong, but something about the new one just screams, you know, legendary Godzilla or Godzilla 2014. As well as my painting skills kind of improved, I want to say, at least for my personal reasons. I think I did a way better job with the new head than the old one. But yeah, I'm gonna do some more close-up shots as I talk about this head. Hopefully you guys see the difference. Obviously, like how I mentioned, Volume 2 has a more sharper look to it with sharper detail and captures the look of Godzilla 2014 way better. And this will be my definitive Godzilla 2014 figure, period. And it's not just a sculpt upgrade that this head kit also allows. You also get an articulation buff. Or upgrade. It can look way more down now without using his torso joint or his legs. He's basically touching his chest with his chin. But yeah, I think this is a really great range of motion. Like, that's why I also bring up the fact this is like a 2.0 figure in general from MonsterArts. Even on the Volume 1, you couldn't go that far down. This is as far as you could go with the Volume 1 head, so it is an improvement. But yeah, this is gonna be him looking all the way down. Now he's depressed that the Monsterverse is in a state that it is right now. Alright, now I'm gonna get into the painting. So again, I used the apple barrel paint, so I mixed in jet black with pavement. I added a little more pavement to get a little lighter color into the mix. But I would suggest to make it a little darker, just a slim bit, not by a lot, but like, you know, enough to not really notice a little change in the paint. I will be darkening him up just a tiny bit more after this video probably. And you know, for the mouth, I did a regular red color mixed in with a little bit of black to get it a little purplish, darker red look. And for the teeth, I did a moldy yellow again. But yeah, this is my G14 recolor / upgrade. If you guys have any questions, again, let me know that in the comments. I'll try to answer them. And last but not least, the newest Well, technically he's the newest because he just released during the timing of this video. But this is one of the latest releases from Kujira Designs, and it's the Showa era Godzilla custom heads. So he did 3 of these. He did 68, which is the version I own, 72, and then 71. So technically this figure is no longer Godzilla 1972. He is Godzilla 1968 from Destroy All Monsters. But yeah, this figure is nice. I was really debating whether to get him a custom head or not, because if I'm being honest, I don't really have a problem with the original head. So yeah, that original head I could probably use as a, you know, water suit head replacement. The head sculpt is really nice. I really like it when, you know, you close his mouth and he looks like that. Obviously I'm not special in saying that, you know, I think Godzilla 1968 is like the Showa Godzilla design, but you know, you get the gist. He screams Showa Godzilla now. Now on to how I painted him.
Hey, it's the voiceover again. I bet you can assume what happened. So anyways, on to what I did to get the colors I got. Again, nothing new. Apple barrel, jet black, pavement, mix that, boom. Next up, you gotta add some Kelly green. Mix it with a little bit of black so it can turn into a darker green. Not too dark, so you gotta add a little bit more green to it so it can get a little lighter, but not too light, if you know what I mean. And then you're gonna just brush that around the head. Not too much so the black can still overpower the green a little bit within the skin tone. And then up next, you do a dirty white, which is just mixing a little bit of black and white, mixing it before it turns gray, and boom, that's the eye color. Now onto the mouth. It's pretty self-explanatory. Again, pink, red, a little bit of black so it can darken up a little bit, boom. And then for the teeth, again, moldy yellow, boom. That's what I got. You guys still have questions? Again, let me know.
But yeah, these were my custom figures slash upgrades. Also, let me know if my painting skills are, you know, pretty valid, or I should, you know, just quit and put the fries in the bag. But to be honest, I think I did a pretty good job in capturing the look and, you know, color matching with these figures. But overall, the sculpts for these head kits are absolutely amazing. I would highly recommend getting these head sculpts from Kujira Designs. Again, I want to make it clear that if you guys do end up wanting to get these head sculpts, they will not come painted. He will do occasionally reruns of painted heads. It's basically up to him which heads he wants to do next. But anyways, that's been my video. Hopefully you guys did like it, and you know, take 1 or 2 things of how I painted these figures up. Again, talk to me down below if you guys have any questions. I think that's it, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.